some setup stuff.
Okay.
I'm gonna just keep trucking along. Set my stream up. There we go. Let me share to TikTok too.
Are you able to tell how many people are on TikTok watching?
Sometimes I can. Sometimes right now it's saying I'm suspended. It does that sometimes though. Because it only wants you to uh, share like video games, which is ridiculous. But
Really?
yeah, TikTok, they don't want you sharing like stuff like I share. They want you doing like video games and stuff like that's what it's supposed to be for.
Oh,
Who cares?
good.
All right, let
That's
me
more
pull up.
helpful.
Yeah, I know. Let me pull up in my doc real quick here.
Okay.
And I know some of this stuff you've already been through, but
It's okay. Repetition is key.
that's right.
Okay.
Here we go. All right. So last week looks like we did NPI, did NPPS, we did malpractice insurance, EIN. So what we can do now is we'll do CAQH. I don't like how that looks. Let's change it to another color. That way I can keep track of these. We'll do a week 2 here. 2. And I've had to fill so many of these CAQHs out lately. It's crazy.
Do you have to do one for every position?
Every person that I hire.
Oh, you're doing it for them. Okay.
Yep. So here we go. I need to go to share screen. Good. Continue. All right. Okay. Is this coming up okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. I should just fill out one for an employee I just hired, but I'll just kind of go over my own. All right, so to get into a little bit about what CAQH is, the CAQH is a credentialing database. So it's something centers of healthcare quality, la da 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 da. What it does is it keeps all your information that is linked to your license, your NPI, job resume, DEA numbers, scope, work history, places of business, EINs, NPIs, all of that stuff goes into one database. This is the database. It's called a CAQH. Even if you're not licensed yet, you can still start your CAQH profile and start uploading everything because there's a lot of crap in here that has nothing to do with your licensure at all. It's going to basically be where'd you go to school, what kind of jobs have you had, personal information, where do you live, social, birth date, all of that stuff. And if you want to get a jump on it, even before you're licensed or board certified, you can get it started because you will have to have this done. It is not an option. This is what the insurance payers use to get you credentialed and get you contracted with insurance companies. So more often than not, when you apply for a job or you get hired for a job, they're going to ask you for a couple of things. Of course, they're going to ask you for your license. They're going to ask you for malpractice insurance. They're going to ask you for a CAQH number. That's basically what places ask for. Um, so when you create an account and you get logged in, you're going to get something called a CAQH ID. So this is going to be very important because this you're going to give to your employers and they can actually use their own credentialing database, plug in that CAQH ID, and it'll pull everything into a document for them to send out to insurances. So that's why it's important. So we're going to go through some of the fields. We're going to talk about what they mean, what's important, what's not important. So we're going to start right at the top with profile setup. When we're doing the CAQH and the profile setup, our grouping, if you're an advanced practice, going to be physician's assistant and advanced practice nursing providers. You're going to find very little information on psychiatric nurse practitioner. you may not see anything there throughout this whole process. Like when I click on it, you're not going to see a psychiatric nurse practitioner. So put your primary practice dates. For me, I put additional practice dates, but remember, each time you put an additional practice date, you're going to have to put a location that is linked to that practice date. Even if it's telehealth only, you still got to fill the stuff out. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but it's what we got to do. So you'll put your primary address in there. That's my primary mailing address. I don't care. You guys see it. Doesn't matter to me. I live in the middle of nowhere. Good luck getting to me. Your social, you're going to have that in there. That's the only thing that's really blocked out on here. But when you do download the actual file, if you need it, your social will be visible. Your NPI in there. This is going to be a type 1 NPI. Do not put a type 2 NPI in here. It'll screw you up. Okay. I know because I did it and I had problems for like 3 months, couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. And that was my problem. I put a type 2 NPI in there. You're not going to need any of these indicators. Looks like that's new. Gender identity. Not to that. I guess demographics, they're requiring them now. I didn't think they used to. Where you were born, that kind of stuff, basic stuff there. Now we get into licensure, right? So what I do is I even put my RN licensure in there, and especially in my home state, because why not? I still got the license. I keep that there. And most of you guys, your RN license should expire in conjunction with your NP license. So I have all my licenses here, right, with the expiration dates, and you'll need to upload those into the documents section when we get to the end. I have my DEA registrations in there. I don't need a controlled substance, dangerous substance registration because I'm not dealing with dangerous substances. So those are class 1 drugs, right? I'm not going to be ordering a class 1 drug.
Some states require you to have an additional license like Maryland does. That's a CDS registration and
No, weird, huh? Why just those few states?
I have no idea, but they do.
Is that so you can
New
wait?
Mexico is one too.
I don't have one in New Mexico.
Really? Like they have, well, when I was going to apply for it, the farm, they were like, you have to do like that
They give
too.
you a form, but it's not a CDS. It's just
Okay.
you got to fill out all the drugs you're going to prescribe, right?
Got it. Well, yeah, I did that, but then the Board of Pharmacy like had something else I had to do
I
too.
know.
So I
I
don't
had
know
to
if
do
it's
it too.
new. I don't
I
know
had
if it's
to do
new,
it too.
but
Stupid
I used
form.
to have a CDS license for Maryland because of the narcotics that we did inpatient.
Which is weird because I thought a CDS is so you can order uh, class 1, which are
No, it depends on
okay.
the state. It just depends on the state.
Okay, because I googled what that was like many times, and I'm like, oh, that's if providers want to order like like I don't know, but
Yeah, it just
Yeah,
depends on the
yeah, in South Carolina, we have to do it, and that's even for control like type 2 or whatever, like for stimulants and stuff, you have to do it.
yeah, because dangerous drugs are like methamphetamine, heroin, right? Um. Anyway, moving on. I don't have to have any of this stuff. Medicare, I don't have it on my CAQH. I don't deal with Medicare, but if you do, you can have it in there. All right. And then gaps, you got to watch out because some insurance companies you'll have to explain gaps in employment or gaps in education. So you want to make sure that, and most of us have been in school like the entire time we worked, so that's not a problem for many people. But have your education record in here, right? So I started school in 2015, finished in 2021. It's kind of a long time, huh? It's a lot of years. All the places I've worked at. Specialties. All right. So you want to make sure that you get this taxonomy right here because this is going to allow you to be able to provide psychotherapy. If you just keep a regular nurse practitioner in there, regular nurse practitioner, So not psych. When you go to bill a psychotherapy code, you're going to be like, why am I getting my claim getting denied? And I've seen that happen to NPs, psych NPs, and it had to do with their specialty. So they didn't mark the right specialty. They just marked like nurse practitioner. So your taxonomy tells the insurance company your scope, right? So if you're a FNP, it's not within your scope to build psychotherapy. So when you're filling that out, please keep an eye on that. Board certified, we have the ANCC, and then there's another one now, right? APEB, I don't know, something, ABPN. Now there's two. But you have your certification dates in there, listed in the directory. Secondary specialties, that's up to you. You don't have to, but the more specialties you add in there, the longer it's probably going to take to get you credentialed. I got my CPR card in there. ACLS, they ain't doing that. And then depending on if you're across the lifespan. This looks new. And then I added MAT, substance abuse, alcohol. I just added some stuff in there. You don't have to do that. Here's where it can become kind of a nightmare. So you see this practice locations. If you add an additional license, you have to add the locations, which is super weird. So for Vermont, Virginia, New Mexico, when you go to add those locations, though, it actually gives you an option. See, when I go to add locations, you can click virtual only. See that? So it won't list an address or anything like that. So you can still apply for your contracts, credentialing, all that stuff. And then when you go through your business identifiers, I should probably fix that. Oops. Fix that. Then you can put your type 2 on there if you do have a type 2. Virtual only, so accessibility. So you want to add basically any location that you have licensure in, okay, on there. All the locations, even if it's virtual, Colorado virtual. See, for me, you want to add those all in there. So these are all the different places I work at, see? Or I have affiliation with anyway. So this is what it means when somebody's getting you credentialed with their company. They're just adding you in there into their location. And then the insurance company pulls that information out of the CAQH. If you have admitting privileges, they'll be in here. See, I have admitting privileges at Calvary, which is an addiction center. I don't know why I don't have non-admitting. I should have admitting privileges there, but some people don't have admitting privileges. Admitting privileges just basically means that patients can be admitted under your name, so you as the primary provider. In Arizona, Medicaid allows NPs to be admitting providers. Some places will only allow a physician to be an admitting provider. Credentialing contacts. I have so many companies that go in here and change this crap all the time, right? So whoever you're working for, they'll go in there and change it. So you can leave it alone or add yourself. It really doesn't matter. Liability insurance. So I have, this is expiring. I'm a big fan of Berksey. It's cheap. I have this policy now. In Arizona, if you want to see Medicaid patients, you have to have what's called sexual abuse and assault coverage if you want to see Medicaid patients. So that's why I had to update my policy, and it's quite expensive. So we have our policies there. You don't have to worry about the tort stuff. That's if you work for a like Indian Health Center or um, federally qualified health center. So employment records, this is where they don't want any gaps, right? Health plans and other organizations require gap records. So you want everything for the last 5 years to line up, right? So you don't want anything. And if you have a job that you've had for a long time, that's great, but it could delay your credentialing if you don't, right? And gap records, so you could put in, if you do have gap records in there, you can enter them in there, but academic, right? If you're in school. Professional references, have a couple in there because many places require it to be pulled. They want 3. Um, they can't be family. They should be other licensed providers, is what I've heard. And then at the end, disclosure. Have you ever been convicted of a crime, denied coverage, that sort of stuff? So go through that. I wonder what the difference is between CO and CAQH. Interesting. Don't know. All right. So once everything's filled out, we're going to review. I don't want it. We're just going to test it. Test. Sometimes you'll see errors in there that don't really make sense. Like for me, there's like Colorado says something that didn't check out, but it's fine. I've already checked. And then you'll be able to see what health plans have access to view your CAQH, right? So like Aetna for me, United, right? Evernorth, Magellan, BCBS, Multiplan, Mercy Care, all these places can view my profile so they can credential me right away. So it makes it a lot easier, them having your access to your CAQH. And if you even go to like, so let's go to like Aetna join. Medical. See, CAQH ID, right? That's what they want. So when you're filling these applications out, usually they ask for your CAQH. Let's see, I don't want to go into it. They'll ask for your CAQH information and it'll pull everything from your CAQH into your application so you don't got to do anything, which is great. Council for, that's what it stands for. So, do you guys have any questions on CAQH? I think it's really important. A lot of people don't know how to fill it out. Anyone have any questions that are here with me? Taylor, do you have your own CAQH? Have you been in it? Do you know how to work it?
Yeah, I already have one. And then I have a really good friend that's gonna help me with my practice. So
Doing this stuff?
yeah.
Okay, good. She knows how to do this?
Yeah, and I have access to it as well. So
Yes, always have access to your own stuff. It's crazy because the hospitals, if you ask them for it, they'll give it to you, but usually they like hoard it. I don't know why. So let's go back to, let's go to our documents. Let's cross that out. See where we are next. Okay, so CAQH, that's done. And then we can also do DEA. That should only take a minute anyway. Let's take a look here. So apply for DEA. All right, so this is a DEA registration, okay? So when we are applying for DEA registration, we are going to be using the mid-level provider application, okay? Not the MD application. Some people kind of get confused or they'll click the wrong one because a lot of times they lump us all together. So we're going to be using a form 224, okay? And we're going to be doing a new registration. Hopefully it doesn't make us create an account because I really don't want to. Business activity, let's see here. Maybe I got to blow it up. There we go. So we are going to be a nurse practitioner. You can see the cost on it, $888 times 3 years, which is ridiculously expensive in my opinion. It's kind of a lot, but that's what it is. You really only need one DEA per state. If you're practicing telehealth in other states, you may need to get a DEA in other states, but it's coming down the pipe. It's probably going to be next year. Right now, technically you don't, but some states are even changing what they're doing now. Okay. See if we can get away without uploading something. Sometimes these government sites really suck. They really do. They're so slow. What's weird is sometimes these government sites they're only up during business hours, which is so weird, but I don't know if it likes us today. There we go. Probably make you fill this stuff out. Oops. Love autofill. So when you're filling these out, you got to make sure you can mark all of these. Okay. Some people don't know that they can mark all of these. Schedule 2, Schedule 3, Schedule 4, and Schedule 5. Okay. And you can look at the schedule details. Obviously, Schedule 1 is going to be, I don't even have it listed there. Schedule 1 is going to be stuff that's illegal. Okay. Your NPI. (2021), University of Arizona. Do you hold a board certification in addiction medicine? No. Okay. Allopathic medicine. Have you graduated or advanced practice nursing? Yes, we have. Have you completed not less than? That's such worded so weird. Yes. So that's for an X waiver, which they don't even use anymore. Have you ever been convicted of a crime? No. Surrendered? No. Did I click yes? Maybe I did. Oops. Yeah, we don't want to click yes on those, right? All right. So, and that's it. That's literally it. And once you fill that out, most of the time, your DEA number will come back in 2 or 3 days. How long did it take your guys' DEA numbers to come back? Pretty quick?
I don't remember. I mean, the federal one, not the federal one, the exempt one I got like instantly.
Yeah,
But
exemption, yes.
the original one they did the application for me. So
Yeah. So usually from I've helped people fill out the applications before.
Mhm.
Usually an application takes about 2 days if there's no findings, which, for the most part.
Money goes instantly.
Oh shit, right? I know, right? They don't wait on that, right? The money will go right away. But that's how you get a DA number. It's really easy. Um, and yeah, so we will stop there for the kind of practice startup stuff. I'm gonna stop sharing my stream, and then you guys we can talk. Let's see here. Let's go to. I just want to go here, and I want to stop the YouTube stream now.